Confused on how to save customers in the current rate environment and cycle that we're in? That's exactly what we're going to tackle today with our guest, Dan Kitajima, Rockstar Insurance Agent, $15 million agency book of business. He's going to be talking about what he has done over the last 12 to 18 months in the California market to go back to the basics, to take care of customers, to lower the lapse can, increase retention, to sell more products to not only current customers, but also new prospects. So, with that being said, let's start the show. Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. We are your hosts, Michael and Courtney Weaver, and we have a very special guest with us today. This will be his second time on the Buzz, Rockstar Dan Kitajima. Dan, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how's it going, Michael and Courtney? I'm so happy to be joining with you guys and I'll be on the show. You guys do amazing things. We just talked about some of the things we're going to talk about, and I'm really excited about it.
Oh, yeah. We are going to be having some fun. We're going to be talking about what's happening in California and how you are keeping your team motivated. This is going to be a super juicy episode.
I mean, and just like you said earlier, Dan, like it's not just what's happening in California, it's what's happening across the country right now. And you've made some pivots to not only keep your team producing, but you guys are still crushing it. And that's really what I want to dive into right now. Like over the last 12 to 18 months, what are some things that you've done to pivot to keep your agency in growth? All right. So that growth mindset is where we can start first. Like, I'd like to hear what you've done.
Yeah, wow. It's been a crazy 12 to 18 months. Non-renewals, underwriting restrictions, bonus gone, commission cuts, you name it. There's anything that this business could challenge, top employees leaving. Yeah, some things maybe we won't get into, but it's been really a challenging month. I mean, I have over $5 million worth of my book of business getting non-renewed. Monthly bonuses of 60 grand a month getting taken away. Staff members because they're on commission. When it's hard to sell, leaving and they join a place. I'm not sure if it's like a pyramid scheme, but they took like four more of my producers with me in a single month. But really, it's just when it comes to growth mindset, I really just don't understand any other way. We just have to keep recruiting, keep marketing, and pivoting, like you said, might be to life insurance because that is something that the company is still offering. Like we still want to sell that. So finding out what we could sell and really building systems around it, not just like a temporary solution, but figuring out a whole system. And I think always figuring out, and sometimes when you go to adversity, that's the best time to think about your best ideas. You become the most resourceful. You tweak things and you get into a really deep thought on how you could get yourself out of the situation. I mean, financial situations too. But the good thing is, I had the intuition when things were good that things probably won't be good forever. So I saved some money up, so I could withstand a storm and still keep as many people as possible. And I'm still looking to grow and still, plant the seeds for the future. So in a way, I feel like I've learned a lot, built a foundation, and now we're ready to grow the agency even bigger than what it used to be.
Number one, thank you for your transparency. All right. So let's get into this. So when California basically got shut down, all right, policyholders got non-renewed. Have you done anything to pivot to start writing business in other states?
A little bit, that wasn't as easy as I thought. I started out with Texas, but there's just so many rules and regulations with every state. And I found out as difficult as it is in our state, because non-renewals, we still have a lot of work there to do. And just to keep our non-renewals from non-renewing, there's some contingencies and a lot of activity for customer service too. I really tweaked the compensation plan to make it less sales and more customer service work too. I think that is one pivot that I made because in the past my compensation was so based on sales, but now it's like, well, if you're retaining a client and preventing a non-renewal, that's a lot of work because you got to get pictures and signatures. So I really wanted to compensate my staff members for that type of work. But going outside of a different state, it was a lot harder than I thought it was. And since you're brand new entering a state to market it also, just the rules and with compliance tightening up also, because when companies don't want to write as much, then the compliance tightened down. So being a newbie or rookie, I thought the room for error was a little bit bigger. So that learning curve wasn't something I could really afford to really go all in. It was more about defensively, like, hey, how can we try our best to service our current clients and the problems our clients are having? So I think our focus quickly shifted into, hey, instead of going into other states, let's try our best to take care of our current customers the best we can, because that required a lot of activity and attention.
So, what else does that process look like? So, you shift the comp plan to be more service based. When you say, hey, we're going to focus more on servicing and retaining our current customers, what does that look like for you?
Well, it kind of starts off with having a good CRM system where it tracks all the activity there. So if you change a non-renewal, then you get a certain amount of commission. If you take a payment, if you make a change that the price goes up or down, if you reinstate a policy, if you're able to take a renewal payment. So first thing at first is just tracking activity when it comes to customer service and really having a compensation plan where it just lists out, okay, if you do this, if you do this, if you do this, even for a payment, you get like 50 cents. So just tracking every single thing as possible and really knowing that, first of all, I think if it's tracked, then as competitors, you see your name on the track every single day, you see what you exactly did. So just knowing that you're being tracked kind of motivates people, and some people are more competitive than others. And also just rewarding it for and basing it on compensation because you did so much customer service work. It's something that I had a difficult time rewarding or tracking, but with how intricate CRMs could be now and how reporting is more detailed, that's something that I really put in place to reward and acknowledge good customer service activity.
What were the conversations that you were having with your customer service team to actually get them to focus more on, paying more attention to detail, essentially, is what you're saying? What did that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question, Courtney. I think a lot of it was just, culture. Hey, like our business is to take care of people, protect people, and we can't go looking for new people when we can't even take care of our own. Our product is us. First thing first, like we can't think about having these big visions of growing our careers when we can't even answer the phone call when our current clients call us. We got to get back to the basics here. So really getting down to what is our actual product, and the product is us. Like if they email us or call us or text us, like how fast do we respond? We're not going to get any referrals, or we're not going to be able to grow our business if we just keep focused on production, which is kind of like a mistake I made in my past. Is let's get down to the basics and be there for our clients, and then we'll start thinking about growing our careers towards the right direction. And then just staffing and making sure you have enough people, enough teammates. And when we have a new teammate, then we're all want to get that person up to speed because as a team we win and lose. So a lot of it is just culture, team, just doing the right thing, caring about our customers, and really taking our profession seriously, which is being there for our clients.
I love that you bring that up because I have a saying we both do that customers deserve is just as much attention as prospects. They actually deserve more, but we put so much focus on building systems for prospects. So when you emphasize this with your team, how long did it take for you to see actual traction behind that to where you were like, "Oh, okay, this is actually leading to more referrals. This is actually driving business." Was it
Lowering
like
retention or
yeah,
yeah, like
was it
what does that look like?
immediate? Did it take how long until you saw like the fruit of this?
Well, even though culture and me preaching, I think makes a big difference. I think the best way to see immediate action on your staff's behavior is to change the comp plan. So when the comp is involved, then the behavior change happen rather quickly. So I think that's a key point of, yeah, we could really try to tell our staff members what to do, what to say, how much to care. But when you tie in the compensation, then I think that's what made the biggest difference. So I'm pretty pleased with how fast their behaviors change. And also, we all had to find ways to make more money too because things were so hard to sell now. So I think the shift, I'm really proud of my team for being as adaptable as they were last year.
Well, that starts from the front like you. And so it sounds like you have shifted, and so you are starting to write more life insurance. And so I would love to know what are some strategies or things that you've done with your team to begin, because I this is a new process for you, correct? Like you a major focus of yours prior wasn't life insurance, is that right?
That's right. Yeah. I'm pretty embarrassed to talk about our previous year's life insurance numbers. We pretty much wrote the bare minimum to qualify for certain things. But now it's like, hey, we have to actually have producers make money because I've noticed that some of our producers great ones left my agency because the opportunity to sell wasn't as there. So I had to figure out, hey, yeah, customer service, retaining customers and having comp plan for that is great. But if you're a really high producing sales agent, what are we going to sell now? And that is something that we have to offer. So again, it comes back to systems. Obviously, training is involved. Hey, like every time you do a sale, every time you do a customer service, mention life insurance, this and that. But I want to make things automated because, producers have their days, good days, bad days. They'll forget stuff. And sometimes, they'll get sick or their kid's sick and they miss work. But one good thing about a lead management system is that they're very consistent. So whenever we sell a policy, we put in their date of birth, and even if they forgot to mention about life insurance, my CRM system will spit out a text message and an email that says, "Hey, thank you for, not like immediately, but a week later." First, it'll say like, "Hey, thanks for getting the policy." Then it'll say like, "Hey, refer us and review us," all that. But then we'll also have a life insurance piece to it too. Hey, since you're a 51-year-old male, life insurance for you starts with only as low as $22 a month for you. Please let me know if you're ready to talk about it. So just automating it and just letting them know a really low price because we help out a lot of standard clientele. It's not all preferred. It's like everyday people. So getting that conversation out of there by sometimes people get intimidated. Life insurance, oh my God, it's going to cost a lot. So it's throwing out the cheapest price out there and by text message and email. And also with customer service too, because we put everything in our CRM and we send out confirmation of the change. 2 days later, we'll send out, hey, just to let you know, for 49-year-old female, life insurance is low as $25 a month for you, blah, 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 blah. Also, birthday campaigns, since we have everyone's birthdays in there, we'll send out, happy birthday 1 month later. As we get older, it's time to think about, well, so just having just a lot of activity as far as our system mentioning them that we do life insurance and that we let them know what the lowest price is. That's kind of how we've gathered a lot of activity because since we didn't cross our book of business very well, we had a lot of people to go through, and that's what's really helping us gain the momentum, and that's what's really helping our life insurance producers. Were not that experienced, but it gave them the at-bats necessary to get better, and that's when we were able to really train them because a real life situation, hey, this is the situation, what should I do? And then our team got better and better at understanding what type of products we have, what type of underwriting questions we have, and the momentum started building. But I think it all starts with leads because you can do all the training you can, but our producers don't have anyone to talk to. So really leveraging our book of business and having their CRM, communicating with them that we have life insurance at the lowest price and what the lowest prices are has helped us a lot.
So if I'm looking at your book of business and I'm you, where did you start for life insurance? Like what was your specific customer that you're like, okay, this is where we're going to start targeting in this big book of business?
Well, it started with just whoever we service. So back to just making sure our product is good. So if someone calls us, we want to take care of them, offer them the best customer service, make it efficient, make it accurate. And after they have a good experience with us, hey, I had to add a car. They picked up the phone right away. They texted me my ID cards. Everything went well. They have a good feeling about it. The most recent interactions of clients, again, we tell our producers or customer service reps to ask about life insurance at that very moment. Sometimes they freeze up and they're not comfortable. So just have the system do it for us. So the clients that had the most recent interaction with us was number one. And then two are cross-sell opportunities at the point of sale too. So when you sell a policy, that's when usually they're at the happiest with us. And then they're in the buying mode. And they know a lot of times life insurance is something they should review or talk about, but they haven't been pushed to actually take action. So whenever they get another product with us, auto or life or home, even though it doesn't happen as much, but when it does, it's a great opportunity for us to them know that, hey, let's talk about life too, because we do that. So I would say any customers that we come across recently that we helped, and two is any sale that we get right now.
Wait, can I just say something? I don't know if we do this because you were talking about a birthday campaign, but would it be beneficial if we sent somebody a text a month before and been like, listen, you're getting ready to get older. Your life insurance is going to go up in 30 days. The countdown is on. And we have like a whole Mission Impossible thing. It's like this text message will implode.
Listen, Linda.
I think because that's the thing that motivates me is as somebody who's spent so much time in the insurance space, every time a birthday comes around, that's my thought. It's not that I want to get crow's feet. It's not that I'm getting older. It's like, oh my God, my life insurance just went up. Like, oh, I need to get more. So I don't know, Dan, maybe call me for some marketing ideas because I think that's a good one.
Well,
I think that's like Mission Impossible moment right
yeah,
there.
and Dan, one thing I
I'm
would
just teasing. Just teasing.
Mission
No,
Impossible.
Courtney, I think one of the difficult things with life insurance is how to add the urgency because there's no like renewal date or there's no like due date.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like how do you add that piece of like scarcity or like some or times up. So I think that's actually a great idea to let them know. We do send us a text 30 days in advance to kind of warm them up with that idea. And the day of their birthday, we don't try to sell them anything. We just
Yeah.
generally just wish them happy birthday only. And the 30-day afterwards, that's when we kind of really start trying to think about it more. But now you got me thinking.
I
So
would go before
so
because I would have that sense of
yeah,
urgency.
definitely before. So 30 days before is great. So a text message followed up with a phone call. I would definitely recommend that process. Also, Dan, I'm a big believer that words matter. All right. So sometimes terms like life insurance, as you know, can turn a customer off. And so you might start using words like you could text all of every person that owns a home in your book of business. You could shoot them a simple text that's like, hey, we know that you have US Bank as your mortgage provider. Tell me, who's your mortgage payoff protector plan with? So, in the event you were to pass away, your spouse received a check large enough to pay off your mortgage,
Mm,
and just shoot out that text and see what responses. Same thing with like cars that have loans on them, Dan. You could send out a similar text that said debt payoff protector. Like, hey, who's your debt payoff protector plan with? So in the event something happens to you, your spouse would receive a check large enough to pay off the lien on the car, and just see like I'm a big fan of like A/B testing. So like just testing different text messages or even when you're making calls like this just to see what works better and what doesn't. But those are like two of my favorite strategies to use is the mortgage payoff protector and the debt payoff protector. So
yeah, great stuff. And I like the way you bring it up is like who is it with? It implies that if you don't have it, something is wrong.
Mhm.
mhm.
So it's kind of like you're assuming that they already have it, which is great because if they don't say, "Oh, I don't have anything for that," then you're already creating a little problem for them. So you create the lack of by asking and assuming that they should have it by assuming, making the question like that.
And then like me processing right now. So me processing like the example I just gave you was a little bit long. So I would actually keep it. I'm a big fan of like creating curiosity. So you could just say, hey, was looking through your mortgage, see it's with US Bank. Who's your mortgage payoff protector plan with? Question mark. And just because most people will respond with, what are you talking about? Or I don't have that, which then gives you an opportunity instead of trying to sell via text message to be like, hey, I'm going to give you a call real fast. Just need 2 minutes of your time, and then you can actually do what you do best and what your producers do best, and that's have a conversation that actually matters instead of, and so you're just using text to get somebody interested, which I'm a bigger fan of than trying to sell over the phone.
Yep, yep, that has worked really well for us. Yeah, as almost like appointment setting. Using
Mhm.
that
Yep.
and then getting the conversation started. But yeah, all the major things have to be done still over the phone. I really do agree with you on that.
Phone, virtual, in person. Amen, baby. We are in a human, just like you said, you're getting back to the basics. And the one thing we constantly talk about on the buzz and at Weaver Sales Academy is transactional selling is going to turn into transactional customers. All right. Like people don't know that you care about them until you show them you care. And that's why all we preach and all we teach is transformational selling. And that's everything from the upfront process of quoting more coverage and more policies every single time to what does your nurturing look like? Because once they become a customer, as you know, that's when the real work starts because it's cost way less money to keep a customer happy and in your book of business than it does to go out and obtain new customers. And so that's why like I love what you're doing here, Dan. Like I love what you're saying is you're getting back to what's most important, and that's taking care of your current customers to make sure they're not leaving you out the back door because that's just typically not an extremely profitable business.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do is build a profitable business that keeps growing, and we have big dreams. So a lot of times we just focus on one side of the business, but if you have the backside really solid, then the way I look at it, because I do spend money on marketing, is that it makes our ROI so much better because our lifetime value grows so much the longer they stay with us. So I always thought like, "Ah, man, I wish I could just go crazy on the marketing budget and spend so much more money on marketing and get a lot of sales." But to make the math work itself out, the lifetime value that's longer. and bigger, then we could really go crazy on the marketing because it makes the return so much better. So it does take a lot of work to make sure the backside is really taken care of, but that is kind of how I would sum up what I've been working on for the last year.
I gotta ask you, Dan, because with all the stuff that's going on, how are you staying positive right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, I think one of the things is that I figured that this is a time for me to prove myself to see what I'm made of. So I think when you're tested, it's actually an opportunity to find out and to build your character. I think one of the ways to stay positive is also to move your body. I really believe in that. I've also become even more strict on my diet and not having any bad vices like, that I've had in the past and really cutting things out and just being grateful of the opportunity. Unfortunately, this business has been brutal. So a lot of my peers in different situations, you hear some bad stories, and compared to a lot of different situations, there's always something that we could find opportunities from. So, I'm healthy. My kids are healthy, so I really have nothing to complain about. And I look at it as a challenge to prove myself and to actually really build out systems where things are going to be even better than before. Because if I didn't go through any of this, then I wouldn't have been as resourceful. I wouldn't have thought of these changes that would change my agency forever. If everything was fine, like I think we would have just kept going the way we have. But I feel like again we built this foundation now that we could really build upon. So I look at it as something that was great, And next time something like this happens, hopefully it's not for a while, but a crisis comes, I feel more ready for it, and it'll just be a chance for me to find out what we're made of out of again. So just made us stronger, and for that I'm grateful and again optimistic. Hey, my agency is gonna be even bigger than it was before because of this. So having hope, not hope, but having a goal, having big goals, I think also helps too.
All right, now I'm gonna frame the question.
I just have to have a moment because that is so refreshing to hear. Just that positive outlook and how you are grabbing for gratitude in everything that you're doing. Like at home and in work, and no matter what is being stacked upon you, you're like, okay, this is just a test or a lesson, or this is building character, adversity, or whatever. Like you're seeing the upside of it. So thank you. It feels refreshing that even if there's craziness or bad things or challenges or however you want to phrase it, that you can still find the good.
No, yeah, I think last year definitely forced me to find ways to stay positive. So yeah, it was something that I got a lot of experience in.
And the one thing that I heard you say that I definitely don't want to go overlooked, you're taking care of yourself personally. Like you
Mhm.
said, you've cleaned up your eating, you've eliminated some things that maybe you used to do, probably work. I know you work out. So I'm a firm believer. I think we both are like what's going on in your personal life is going to be a direct response of what's happening in the professional life as well. And so not only are you going back to the basics in the business, it seems like it also seems like you're going back to the basics of, hey, what habits do I need to be disciplined with in my personal life that make me feel the best I can feel, from gratitude exercises to working out to eating healthy, that not only make you feel good, but they also allow you to also perform well at the same time.
Yeah, last year required me to be at my best, survival mode. So it really was a season where I got tested, but I think during the losing season, that's when you learn the most. It really exposes everyone's true character, and you find out who could stay true to their core principles and their values. Yeah, taking care of ourselves is job number one because if you can't, then you really can't take care of anybody else. So as leaders, we have a huge responsibility for our agency and for our clients and for our families. So yeah, I mean, just getting enough sleep starts from there. There's so much stress and you require so much energy to survive last year. So I think those habits, I think they're going to stay with me forever. So another reason to be grateful for going through what I did is because, hey, I saw the benefits of when you're back against the wall, turning into another gear you know and I think those are things like you said, habits is what really makes a difference on over the long term.
There's somebody listening that's going through the season that you were just in. They're navigating adversity, they're feeling pressure, they're defeated. What would be either the first action step that they can take to get out of that situation, or one piece of advice that you can offer to somebody that's in that season of life?
Yeah, thanks, Courtney, for asking. I think the first step is just taking accountability. I think a lot of times we try to become victims of the situations, but hey, we're the ones that chose to be with this carrier or to live in the state or be in the insurance business to begin with. So whatever you did, it was the reason you're in the situation. So I think the first thing to do is to just take control of your situation you're in instead of putting blame and trying to run away from the problems. So I think the first step really is to look inside of yourself and say, hey, what can I learn from this experience and look at it objectively and not getting emotional about it and say, what am I going to do? Strategize, adapt, and then take massive action.
Dan, this has been great, man. If somebody wanted to
So good.
support you, follow you, you do tremendous things for the insurance industry yourself. You have the YouTube channel where you bring on some amazing guests. What are other ways that people can either support you, connect with you, follow you, work with you?
Yeah, no, thanks for asking, Michael. Just my YouTube channel and my Facebook and Instagram is all just Dan Kitajima. So if you guys could just follow me and check out some of my videos, that's what I have them for, is to just help out any agents that's going through different situations like we all are. And yeah, just giving me any feedback of what's going on. I would love to just it really helps. And I think you guys do a great job of having this where agents could get together and relate to each other and understand we're not the only ones going through it. Positive voices like your guys's and actual technical training like you guys provide. I don't do that as much, but I think that's something that I would like to play a part in too, helping other agents like you guys do.
Oh, you already do, brother. Your
Oh,
your YouTube's
so
awesome, man.
good.
You put out great content.
Yeah, so much value.
And the I don't want to say the best thing 'cause there's a lot of great things about you, Dan. But you're always super honest and transparent, and you're always a learner of the game. And I appreciate that. I mean, for those of you that don't know Dan, I mean, you're talking about somebody that has over a $15 million book of business. Like this is a seasoned veteran that is willing to make some changes and looking to build his foundation wider so he can even crush the 15 million mark, which is a hell of a that's a hell of an agency in general. So, Dan, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for everything you do for the insurance industry. And of those of you that are checking this out on YouTube right now, you'll see Dan also has a hell of a Jordan collection behind him, man. Like your shoes are the shit, bro. Like this collection's awesome.
No, yeah, thank you. Hopefully the market turns around so I could get back to buying some more. Last year I didn't grow my collection as much, and they never go on sale. So, but that's keeps me motivated, and hopefully I could buy a few more pair this year.
What's on your list? What's your next pair of Jordans that you want to buy?
Anything that's original, they call it OG colorway, but what he was wearing in the '90s when he was wearing those championships, like the actual pairs that he actually wore, it's more for me, more history over like hype and like something new. So something that brings me nostalgia, and he's a childhood hero that showed me what it takes to be a competitor and a winner, and what type of commitment is required to win at the highest level. So those are the shoes that really brings me back the memories.
I love that. We actually had this conversation, and Dan, I think you will agree. We were talking about who is the greatest athlete of all time, and that's in like any sport. And it always, for me, comes back to Michael Jordan.
Back to MJ, baby.
Always. Like, there's a lot of great athletes, but and maybe it's just that was our childhood hero, and it's like, oh, it's Michael Jordan. But I don't know. Would you agree? Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, based on my collection, yeah, it would be weird if I didn't agree. It wouldn't make sense, but yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think yeah, it is because of the era we grew up in
Yeah.
and from what we witnessed. Yeah, I agree, and I think in a way we're all competitors and we all want to win. In the insurance business, we all want to find a way to win. And when you look at sports athletes like Jordan too, like his career wasn't all championships every single year. There were some losing seasons, trying out different things, not working out. So I think there's a lot to learn from, and even the best go through losing seasons, and we sure can and learn from them as well.
Amen, brother. Amen. Dan, thank you so much. This has been amazing for all of those of you that tuned in today. Would love to know your biggest takeaway from Dan today. 816-727-7610. Shoot us a text message. And as always, time and attention are by far the most invaluable assets that we all have. We appreciate you spending time with us. Dan, thank you again, brother. This was great.
No, thank you guys for having me, and I'm really interested in learning from you guys. We talked a little bit about pivoting, cross-selling your book of business with life insurance. So I got a lot to learn from you guys. So looking forward to connecting with you guys on that too.
Yeah, brother. Talk to you soon.